Good morning, Lucas. Good morning, everybody. I'm always buzzing and psyched when I see that video, hear the music, gets me in a good mood already. It's awesome. Thank you, Katrina, for a fantastic job on that.
Feels like Champions League somehow.
Exactly. We're playing at the top level. So, Good morning, everybody. Guten Morgen, from the heart of, well, I'd say normally Zurich, but Uster in my case. Your case, the heart of Zurich. So I hope everybody is doing well despite this crazy weather we're having at the moment. It's unbelievable, huh?
Yeah, I swim to the office now.
Exactly.
Usually I went there by bike because I try to be a bit active in the morning. Now I can swim, so I'm not complaining.
Stand up paddle.
Stand up paddle, right?
Exactly. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Ask a Recruiter series, episode number 2.
It is.
First episode, me and Lucas did Ready for Review. That was about reviewing CVs. We actually did a live CV review, which was really cool, answering your questions as always. And basically that was the first session. Today's session is all about do's and don'ts when working with a headhunter. So a quick introduction on our side. From myself, my name's Lee Diamond, as you see there. I have more than 13 years experience in recruitment on the Swiss market, speak Swiss, German and English, and I am the owner of We Recruit, which is a recruitment to recruitment expert. So I help recruiters and headhunters find their dream jobs. And Lucas is currently working at Rockstar Recruiting, recruiting top talent. There you go. Top talent across Europe in the tech space. You're also a video broadcasting guru, I think it's fair to say, with Lucas Training, lucastraining.ch, or check out Lucas Training on YouTube. It's all in German. There is hundreds of amazing content and videos that you can see. Quick little plug in there. You can see all of these about lots of different topics, some of which we will cover today, or questions, let's say, we'll cover. As always, it's a live session, so please let us know if you have questions. We actually have a huge amount of questions lined up, but it's much more fun for us to answer your questions directly, right, Lucas?
It is. Yeah, feel free to participate. We love it. I think it gives the session a special twist if we have you asking questions in real time. It's a fantastic thing. Please do it. We love it.
Yeah. Bring the questions. Don't be shy. Let us know if you can hear us okay, where you're listening in from. And otherwise, just checking technology. It all looks good across the desktop and mobile, so we can jump straight into it. So do's and don'ts with working with a headhunter. Let's jump in with something that you like to call mistake number 1: timing.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. The biggest mistake.
I came up with this, because what happens a lot is people are reaching out to me working as a headhunter, and they do that because they have just lost their job. Like, they come to me and then the expectations are so high. They're like, Lucas, you have to find me a new job now because I have just lost mine. And, I'm in deep trouble now. I have mouths to feed and, like I really need a job now. And I think that's the biggest mistake that a candidate can do. Like think in short term, like, okay, I lost my job. All hell breaks loose. My roof is on fire. Now I need a headhunter who is saving my ass.
Exactly.
And I think that's the wrong approach. I think a headhunter, and this is a point I think I'm going to make several times within this session, it should be about the long-term relationship.
Yeah.
So find the headhunter that suits you, the one you think you will get along with well, and maintain that relationship. And then he will be your eyes and your ears on the market, and he will get in touch with you if he finds something or if he discovers something that's ringing a bell, saying, hey, this must be something for Lee. I have to show it to him. You know, this is how it works. Think in long term. So the timing is a big thing. If you just go to see your headhunter, it's not a doctor, you know, when you have like a special situation, the success rate is going to be rather low, because there must be a lot of luck that he has the right thing in his hand or on his table for you at that moment. What do you think about it, Lee?
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think, you know, ultimately, losing a job is kind of, let's say, the end extreme, right? So there's also a lot of dissatisfaction maybe that happens along the way, where somebody's slowly getting to the point of saying, well, I'm not enjoying my job as much as I used to, or I can't develop as much, I can't develop for the future, I don't see my career prospects, things like that. And, you know, already at these times, or even before, is the time to be engaging. A great headhunter can give you market insights, can help you benchmark yourself. And I think something when we talk about timing as well, and I made a post about saying some weeks ago, actually, about saying, you know, if a recruiter writes to you, you know, you can have a conversation without actually, you know, being open or interested in looking for a job, because at that point you get the chance to say, okay, I'm actually quite happy. But when we talk about kind of dream scenarios, you know, if something would come up which looks like this and would give me these kind of opportunities, maybe I'd be open to have a conversation. And I think that without having that kind of pre-conversation or early stage conversation with a headhunter, those kind of opportunities will never come up to you. And as you quite rightly say, Lucas, you're only going to be looking at the opportunities that are open then, as opposed to being presented fantastic opportunities or dream opportunities at a maybe another time. And yeah, maybe you're not at the house is burning, but you know, there might be a bit of smoke going around. And what's the harm in having a conversation, having a look at those times?
Exactly. I mean, it's like so many people or candidates that sometimes I approach candidates proactively that I find interesting. I find I will have a lot of opportunities from them for them in now or in the near future. I approach them and they're like, so what's in it for me now? I'm like, well, now I have one thing I can show you. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have 2 or 3 or more things in the future for you, because your profile is awesome. They're like, no, this is a waste of time. I'm not going to talk to you, because now this is not something for me, the opportunity you have on the table now. And this is what I call like really short-term thinking. So it's just, I really think if you have a long-term approach, you should really make the headhunter your friend. And it's like, as I said before, it's about maintaining a relationship. So what does that mean? It means that you can trust each other. It's like that you getting to know each other better. Every time I'm going to send you an opportunity, you can give me a feedback. You can tell me, hey, I like this point and that point, but I disliked the other one. So I have learned something about you. And my network will grow. The companies that I'm working together with, that network will grow. So it means more opportunities for you. And the better I know you, the more I've learned about you within our relationship, the chances will be higher and higher and higher that I will come about something that will really attract you. And I think this is the way candidates should be thinking about working with headhunters.
Yeah, because also then you're at the point of saying, okay, first of all, I need to find the right headhunter. You're kind of trying to play catch up, you know. You're trying to find, okay, who's the right one. When you find someone who would fit your needs, you know, is there the right chemistry? Do they have the right kind of clients? Do they have the right opportunities? And yeah, is there really something in that moment that's the perfect fit? So yeah, I think it's a great bit of advice. Don't wait for the house to be burning, as Lucas says, when there's already a bit of smoke, or even before. I think being happy in a job and satisfied, that's ultimately one of the best times to have a conversation, because there's no time pressure, there's no stress, there's no, the only thing that could come up is a dream opportunity that gives you a chance to consider, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I just made a little comment now on my mobile phone below our session. I think this is a great learning. It's a long-term beats short-term.
Yeah.
So if you think long-term, you have a whole other vision on the whole headhunter topic, because you will be selective. You will ask yourself, who is going to be my headhunter friend for the next couple of years? I'm going to be very selective about it. And then who am I going to trust, and who do I want to grow with? Who is going to be my sparring partner for the next years? And then you keep that relationship alive. You talk to each other. Like maybe you have a monthly call. Maybe from time to time you have lunch or a coffee together, and you just are companions. He's going to be your ally. And I think this is the way you should tackle the handling, or how you communicate with and to a headhunter.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great bit of advice, Lucas. And I think it also reflects as well with companies. If a company only reaches out to a headhunter when the house is burning, as we say, when they're really desperate, they can't find the person, they're already then, so far behind the process. The point that a company should reach out to a headhunter is when even before they know that there's a need, but actually even then, when they know there's a need, there's normally some weeks before a position gets published, because it needs to be approved. Different things need to happen. Already at that point, by engaging with a headhunter, it allows them to start reaching out to the market, start putting the word out, looking in their network, speaking to these great candidates that we've just described before, these somewhat passive candidates, or candidates that are really not looking, and to kind of spark their interest. So I think it goes on both sides. Okay, so don't forget, everyone, feel free to jump in with your questions, and otherwise we will smash on to the next one. Let's talk a bit about the rules when you are in a process. What's the kind of do's and don'ts? You're in a process with a headhunter. What kind of advice do you like to give there?
Well, once you have decided to work with with a headhunter, and you have decided to have that relationship, and you put that trust into that relationship, you have to trust. So he will be your partner in communication, and not the company. So I think this is one of the most important rules when working with a headhunter. You have to trust him. He will do his job, and you do yours. So yours is like, together with him, you can develop like a very good dossier. Let's say you can calibrate your CV together so that it matches the position, do those little tweaks and stuff, You can ask him questions. He will consult you about everything. But then the communication with the company lies within the hands of the headhunter. Don't ever cross that line. Because if you do so, and there is one of my colleagues at Rockstar, I want to quote now, his name is Kieran, fantastic recruiter. If he's watching now, hi Kieran, love you, man. And this quote is of him, and it goes like this: if you cross the line in communication and contact the employer directly, you make us both look like idiots. And this is very true. So find a headhunter you trust, and if you trust him, he will do his job well. So don't communicate with the employer, with the company in a direct way. It's never good. It has never ended good. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the trust has to be there. And if it's not, then you need to ask yourself the question of why you're working with that headhunter. You've obviously not found the right one, because, this person you're needing to trust with your CV, with things around salary negotiation, which we can talk about maybe later. So if you don't trust them with your career, with your CV, with your salary, then you've got the wrong person. No, I think it's important. It's about trust. I think it's about transparency. You know, you may find yourself in a tricky situation. You know, you may have other processes. You may, you know, there's a lot of different things that can happen in and around a recruitment process, right? And I think the most important thing is to be transparent. If you think about it, this is actually maybe a good analogy. Think about it like a lawyer, and that you're in a legal case and you're about to go to court, okay? And if you withhold information, you're not allowing the lawyer to represent you as best as possible, to manage the process and the different possible outcomes that can happen. And as stupid as it sounds, I think it really reflects into recruitment. Let me give you an example of you've got another process going on, and within that process, you know, actually both of these are in your top priority. You think they could both be a really good opportunity. However, the process with the headhunter is moving quicker than the process maybe you have directly, for example. So what a big mistake that some people do is they start to maybe ignore the headhunter, or they don't, you know, they have big delays in the way that they communicate. All of a sudden, a candidate that usually came back immediately doesn't answer for 24, 48 hours, or maybe even longer, or worst case scenario, they ghost you, and you don't hear from them from days. And then you have no way to represent them as a fantastic candidate to the client, right? Yeah. So I think that if you're transparent with that and you say, look, I have another process, and actually they're both, you know, of similar value, or, you know, really, however, that process is running a bit slower. So I want to make sure that I can also meet the people there, and to be able to make a comparison. Now, any company should understand that you're going to choose them not because they've been the quickest, but because you've been able to assess your opportunities and options, and you want to work for them. So I think the headhunter can really manage that. But if you're not transparent, if you don't communicate with them, you're not giving your lawyer in recruitment, your legal representative in that sense, to do the best possible job for you.
Exactly. I mean, as well as you have a relationship with the headhunter, the headhunter has a relationship with the company. Absolutely. Or it's not the company, it's people working at the company, and he will always be he can always manage that communication. He will always be able to talk to them in the right way, and he can say stuff like that, like, you know, the candidate, he's having another process. I've been very transparent with you. Looks like this and that. Can we have 2 more days? Yeah. And like 99% of the cases, this works out perfectly. There is no reason to ghost, to, you know, like hide information, to be a weirdo, you know? Just don't be a weirdo, you know? Just be a cool, don't be a weirdo. Be a cool, grown-up person who's talking real talk, and you will never have any trouble. Everybody will love you, and you will find the job that suits you. Don't be a weirdo.
Yeah, treat people like you want to be treated. It's kind of one of my life.
It's very easy, right?
It is. You know, and I think sometimes these can be hard conversations because people don't know how to position themselves. But, you know,
speak out the tough things. It's okay. Speak them out. It's way better than be a weirdo, and then the tough things are coming back at everybody. Like, it's not only you, it's the headhunter, it's the company. Like, everybody's pissed and in a difficult situation then, just because the candidate has been a weirdo. So don't be a weirdo.
That's brilliant. You know, best advice from the session from Lucas: don't be a weirdo. No, but how can a headhunter represent you if you've gone missing? Because now you're putting the headhunter in a situation of saying, well, what do I say to my client? I haven't heard back from them in 2 days. That doesn't look bad on the headhunter. It looks bad on you as a candidate. And if the other opportunity doesn't work out, you've burnt some bridges there. So
it's about the candidate's reputation. That's something they forget sometime.
Absolutely. So, all right. I think we have a couple of comments coming in. One from Francisca. Let's have a look. She's worked with 5 different headhunters. Only 2 of them got her job offers from time to time, or presented, and had a fantastic service as well, which should be expected, that somebody contacts you and say, hey, sorry, I don't have anything at the moment. However, she's asking, why would a headhunter accept her CV instead of saying we don't search from those kind of jobs? I mean, what's your thoughts? Why does a headhunter accept a CV, never come back with a job, rather than saying they don't do that?
I think these headhunters are going to disappear in the future. Yeah, it's a style of working. It's a quantitative style. Maybe it works for, like temporary jobs, like in catering and stuff. But on a certain level, these headhunters will disappear because they are just shoving around CVs, and they're just throwing a piece of crap on the wall, and then they see what keeps sticking. And this, to me, is not a headhunter. It's just a gambler. And Franziska, well, hi. It's very nice to have you here again. You're one of our most faithful viewers. It's very nice. I think that's a very good topic that you have within your comment here. So I would stop working with headhunters like these. It should be a long-term relationship. The more specialist you are in a certain field, you need a sparring partner, and not somebody who's just, like in case of best effort, sending around your CVs in the whole wild world. This is not, I think, a good representative for you.
No.
How do you see it, Lee?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think recruiters don't always have the let's say the time to respond to everybody, or don't have an automated structure which allows them to do it. And if a recruiter is recruiting for, let's say, is a generalist recruiter, they never know when they need a CV, right? So they might just take the CV. Me personally, and I made a post about it, I think even last week or 2 weeks ago. Every candidate that writes to me, first of all, gets a reply. And even if it's from LinkedIn, even if they're anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter. What they also get is a link from me saying, it's a template that I use saying I'm an expert in recruiting recruiters, and unfortunately not the right recruiter for you. However, here is a link to my video, how to find your recruiter. So every single candidate that engages with me gets a value piece of content which helps them to identify where they can find and how they can find their recruiter. I encourage people to copy that link, to use it. It's not about self-promotion. It's about something that actually adds value and helps people to find the right recruiter for them. It removes frustration on all sides, I mean,
you have done it. You have offered the tool. It's on the table. Other recruiters, feel free to use it. I will use it too. Thanks for mentioning. No, it's the same thing with my
link as well.
Share it, please. It's the same thing with the videos I do for Lucas training. I get a couple of emails like once in a while from other job coaches, and they writing me emails with, "Hey man, thank you. Really like your videos because they help me handling my clients." I was like, "Yeah, sure. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about cooperation. It's not about me. It's about getting the ideas out." And I think it's the same thing with your video. It's very helpful. Please send it to me. I'm going to use it.
I've just sent it into the comments there. It's a YouTube link, so feel free to click on that and see that. I see Franziska also mentioned that it's not just about accepting the CV, but even then having a telephone conversation, even with somebody with 10 years of experience. I think at this point, it's about expectations settings, right?
Yeah, expectation management also. Yeah, from
on both sides. So here's a do for you. Ask the headhunter, what can be your expectations? How often do they have a position that may be relevant for you? When could you expect to hear something back from them? What I often say to my candidates is, depending on if it's somebody that I don't have something for in that moment, my answer is pretty standard in the sense I would say it could be that something comes up tomorrow, and it could also be that something doesn't come in for the next 1 or 2 months. You can always reach out to me and ask me. However, that's the reality of our business. We are often working on clients' positions our clients give us. So, we're reliant on them having a need as opposed to us having a candidate. But so do ask the question, when can I expect to hear from you? How often do you have these kind of jobs? And hopefully that takes a bit of the frustration out of this kind of, I never heard back, because they've said to you, probably not for the next month. Then at least you know. Yeah.
It's true. That's how to do it. But it's also on the side and on the responsibility of the headhunter to tell you what you can expect. So he has or she has to do like proper expectation management. If he or she, like promises you like heaven on earth, this would be a red flag for me as a candidate, you should be very careful about this. So it's the same. I mean, it also goes both ways. If the headhunter is a weirdo, stay away from him.
But that's a bit tricky. I'd say in recruitment, we're all a bit crazy and weird in some way or another, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing the job.
We just love people, man.
Yeah, I think. Exactly. No, perfect. Hey, thanks so much, Francisco, as always, for the question or the comment. Okay, and everyone, please feel free, add your questions, ask away. It's what makes these sessions fun, and we really enjoy it. And whilst we're waiting maybe for something new to come in, let's jump onto another question. Let's see here. One moment. So here's a good one I was asked to bring up. Is it a do or is it a don't? Should I work with several headhunters? What's your
opinion? Want me to go first? Or
you go for it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, as you said before, you just have to be transparent. That's it. I mean, maybe you have a headhunter who has, like a certain network within a certain industry, and then the other one has something else, Why not having or talking to them both? Why not maintaining both relationships? I don't see a problem here. Just be transparent when the processes start, or even there are, like two processes going, like gleichzeitig at the same time, Just be transparent. I think for me, it's okay. It's a go. Just pick them smartly, see who you can trust, and be transparent, and then I don't see a problem. Yeah.
How many is too many?
If you lose your overview over the processes.
It's good. Yeah.
If you have like 5-6 processes going, and then one headhunter shows your dossier to a company where another headhunter has done so before, if that should start, like going on, then you are doing something wrong. It's too many then.
No, but I think that's a really good point you make, Luce. Different headhunters can bring different things. So maybe somebody, has a really strong network within financial services, and another headhunter is really strong within life sciences, for example. And you are a finance professional who's open for both, right? So, this could be a very good reason. What doesn't make sense is if you're dealing with a headhunter or two headhunters that are basically working in the same space. I think there you need to kind of pick and choose and stay close, because headhunters also have other candidates, right? So unless you're the top 5% of candidates, it's a two-way relationship. And I think you really need to kind of build on that and work on that. And you will be able to determine who is a good recruiter, a good headhunter, and who is not. So I think that, but when we talk about this from a client point of view, let's flip this a moment. What about if I'm a hiring manager, or I'm in HR? Should I work with several headhunters? What's your opinion on this?
This is really depending. In my opinion, it's really depending on the seniority or the expertise of the role. So if you have like a high-level expert, I would really go to the experts. And if you have something like there is many, and you just, like many people on the job market, and you just need like 10 of them now, tomorrow, then maybe you can work with several. But I had the case of a company that has asked us to work for them, and for the same role, they have like activated like I don't know, maybe a dozen headhunters, and they did something like, now we have like a special time, like special offer. If you can deliver us candidates now, you will get like that and that rate. It's higher. Now we have, like a happy hour time for headhunters. And that was a shot in the knee, because then everyone was, like reaching out on LinkedIn, and like we were looking for that company X and Y, and some engineers, they were getting like 10 messages a day from 10 different headhunters, and that's definitely not the way to do it.
Yeah. No, I agree on the seniority, but one thing I have to say, and working with as a company, a hiring manager or HR person, working with several headhunters at the same time for a, let's say, mid-level position. I think often people think, well, if I work with 5 different headhunters, I'm multiplying my success or my opportunities and the amount of candidates I'm going to receive by 5. It's not the case. It's not the case, because first of all, if you're doing that across 5 different companies, you're giving basically 20% of your commitment to each headhunter. So how can you expect to get 100% commitment from each of those 5? You don't get 500%. You probably get also 20% from each, because they also know that you have given it to other companies. And the worst thing, and it's exactly what you said, Lucas, the worst thing about all of it is that if I'm a great candidate for this position, I'm now going to be approached by 5 different companies. What does that tell me about your company and your brand?
That's stupid. Yeah.
And how you work, and all of a sudden I'm now bothered by it. I'm actually, I'm not feeling good because 5 people. I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed that I've got 5 people approaching me. Do I even look at it? Do I forget about it? I really think that it doesn't add value to the recruitment process. I'm a big fan of working exclusively or on retained, or maybe just with 2. Because there you have much higher commitment from them, because we all have been trained in a similar way. We all do similar things in searching. There's a few of us that are a bit geekier and do different approaches and things, but ultimately we're going to come across the same very relevant candidates. So you don't need 5 agencies, 5 recruiters, 5 headhunters. You need 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can have 5 headhunters, but for like 5 different positions, like maybe you have one for engineers, you have one for marketing people, you have one for exec. That's all good. That's not what we are talking about. We're talking like 5 on the same. Yeah, exactly. And the one point that you said before, if we have that one candidate who is the right one for the job, and we are approaching him, a good headhunter is not like that greasy sales guy, comes like, I have a nice job for you. No, he's more like kind of a seducer, because he knows you are good.
Yeah.
You are happy.
Yeah.
And now he has to seduce you.
Has to charm
have
you.
A look. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And you have to have some expertise for that. You have to be charming. You have to like people. You have to be a very good seducer. And then it's just about, can you have, we have found you now. I mean, they really need to talk to you. You are like the number one guy in this field, and they really have to get to know you. And how about that? Maybe we can start with a coffee next Friday. I will be there too. We can do it together. It's all good. And so on and so on. Okay. So now if this guy or this lady gets approached by 5 different people, she or he does not feel unique or special anymore. So there is no act of seducing anymore. It's just like a quantitative, it's like Massenware, maybe you can translate that in English. It's
like a commodity, or
it's like random. It's random. So, and why should I, as a specialist, if just something random pops up, why should I react to that? It's just like random. I have better things to do. It's not about opportunity for me, like that would be nice having a coffee about for half an hour. It's like, it's just random. I got that message 5 times before from 5 different people. Just not interested.
it brings red flags. I think if I'm a candidate, I receive 5 times the same kind of similar approach of the same position, I'm going to think, wow, why is this company struggling so much to find something? Find somebody. There must be something wrong, Yeah. And the reality is probably these 5 headhunters are not going to have too much information, because is the HR hiring manager going to spend at least half an hour to an hour with each and every one to really talk about the culture, the role, the benefits, all of these things? No, they probably send it out. This is the salary, find us the person.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's jump back into the comments quickly. I think, so we have a comment here from Jacques. Let's see. So like coaches, headhunters are usually very good to in marketing for themselves. This being said, finding the right headhunter isn't easy. No, it's really not. What process would you recommend to obtain quality due diligence versus a headhunter? So I'm trying to understand, Jacques, if you're saying how is the question how to assess if the headhunter is good? Or how do you understand that, Lucas?
Yeah, I think so. I think basically the question is just how to find the right one. Okay. Because there's so many headhunter. I've seen another comment from. Oh no, it's Jacques. Yeah, it's like the coaches. There is so many coaches nowadays. Like the headhunter is the coach. It's not like something where you have a diploma for. I mean, everybody can call himself a coach or a headhunter.
Yeah.
So it's I would definitely have a look at the seniority. How many years has this guy been doing it? And what is his network, and how long has he been working for the same firm, for example, for the same headhunting firm? Because these are all, little things that are speaking to me about, does he know the industry? Is he known to the branch, to the companies? I would go for seniority first, I would say. And then I would try to get the guy on the phone, of course, and talk to him about my job. And then I will get a glance if he understands what I'm doing. So if I am an IT expert, I cannot expect my headhunter to be an IT expert as well. But I will find out if he is talking my language, is he understanding what's going on within our field, like in what's going on with this company and that, and what are the technologies evolving now, and you will find out pretty quickly, I think, on the phone. So first I would check for seniority, and then I would try to get the guy on the phone.
Yeah. So Jacques wrote a message say, yes, that's what he means. Like how do you evaluate a recruiter? So I think, coming back to your point, I think first of all it's about finding a recruiter who's recruiting positions that you are relevant for. So in an ideal world, if you are a specialist, it's obviously much easier. I know Francisca mentioned before she's an all-rounder and not a specialist, so that becomes a bit more challenging. But if you are a specialist, you're an IT person, you need to find an IT recruiter, not a generalist who also does IT. So I think that's the first thing. Seniority, absolutely, I agree with you on that, Lucas. And I think that the way that the recruiter or the headhunter handles themselves, the information that they're able to share about the company, about the team, about the culture, how much information do they have? Are they simply reading from the job description, or are they telling you things which are behind? And I think that can be also
that's a good one.
A good judgment. What can you tell me about the team? Why is the position open? How long have the company been looking for? Different kind of questions, which shows you how much information do they have. Do they have just the bare minimum, or are they really close with this client and understand the needs? If they're working exclusively with the company, obviously that's really the highest level of commitment from the company towards the headhunter, and that can also show a lot of positivity. And, you know, you need to trust your gut. I always say with my candidates, when it comes to making decisions of which company, I'm a big believer of kind of, you know, listening to your gut. Do I trust this person? Do we have the right chemistry? Is it the right rapport? And if the answer is no, then move on and find somebody else, even if you're not maybe in a position in that sense. But still, you need to really make sure you have the right person looking after your career and your future. So hopefully, Jacques, that gave you some insights. Maybe that's something we can do on another session to go a bit more in depth about how to assess a recruiter. So I had something. I'm just going back into the questions that we received. Yeah, I mean, it comes, I had that here. Do understand the relationship the recruiter has with the client. That comes down to what we've just said, you know, about quality, about how they are how good they are and close they are with their client. One thing I wanted to just quickly mention, you brought it up just before. Do, and here's a do as opposed to a don't. Understand a recruiter is an expert in recruitment and not, for example, in IT. There are people that are in IT recruitment who come from an IT background, who are in life science recruitment, that have an education or a career experience in a scientific field. They can have much more of an understanding about the role, but ultimately what a headhunter is an expert in recruitment. They are there to help match you with the client as best as possible, to help manage that process, to find the best talent for the client, to support this process psychologically, as well as everything else as well. So don't expect, if you're an IT person, that your recruiter is an IT expert, even if they were, let's say, coming from an IT infrastructure background. It doesn't mean they're going to be able to qualify you as an IT developer for this position to the standards of their client. For sure, they're going to have a better idea than someone like me when I was doing IT recruitment, but they're still not going to be at the level they need to be to evaluate your technical skills. What they will be is an expert in recruitment and able to assess as best as possible to those standards. So, yeah. Don't know if
exactly.
you want to add.
I mean,
yeah,
IT is just it's just the best example for it, because hey, there is millions of technologies. And there are so many different jobs as an IT recruiter that you have to hire for, you know. And how could you know all those technologies? Not even the IT people can. It's like, it's such complex stuff. I mean, we have to understand the culture of the company. We have to know the process in and out, and we have to guide you through the process, see you through the process. We know how this is working. And you know, like if you now program with Java 8 or 7, and what's the difference in the libraries, and what do I know? This is not the point of the recruiter. And that's a very important thing to mention.
No, perfect. So here's another don't for you. Don't move the goalposts. You know this expression, Lucas?
No, it sounds like football to me. Maybe you can help me out.
It is. No, it's an English expression. Don't move the goalpost. Okay. Imagine football pitch. You know, your headhunter. This is a picture. This is a sore point for me. Your headhunter steps up to take the penalty. You know.
So relief.
Yeah, exactly. And just before
don't cry.
Just before I already did. It's okay. Just before they hit the penalty, the goalposter moves. Their shot is on target. They've hit the ball perfectly. But the goalie or the referee or whoever has moved the goalpost. And this is the same in working with a headhunter. You know, when you have a conversation with them, it comes back to being transparent about making sure that your expectations are understood. Don't from there change it. Of course, things can change. Circumstances can change. You know, let me give you a prime example. You speak to a headhunter about your salary expectations. You communicate that. You go into an interview and you tell the client something different. You need to be aligned with the headhunter about what is being communicated and not change your mind because you thought it was the right thing to do, or you heard from somebody else that the salary is too low, or whatever. If that's the case, have a conversation with your headhunter. Don't go into an interview and say something different to what you've agreed. It doesn't matter if it's financially, if it's in regards to your motivation, reasons you've left a job, whatever it may be. Don't move the goalposts.
Yeah.
We don't want to miss that penalty.
No. And as my colleague Kieran says, it makes us both look like idiots.
Yeah.
It's just, I once had a case of a candidate profile. The candidate went to the interview. We communicated that, the role was around 120, 25 or such. And the candidate was very good expert. And we were going with 130K a year, and that was okay for the company. It was okay. Said, okay, it's a bit on the upper end, but yeah, let's have a talk. We think it's a great candidate. And within the interview, he said he wants 180K. So this is like almost, it's like 40% more. Stupid, and it was immediately over. And if you do that, you're just you're a weirdo. Why do you do that? I don't understand. Really don't get it. Just don't do that. I mean, I have to check in on this guy on LinkedIn. I want to see what he's doing today. Yeah. I'm going to do this after.
It's always interesting to look up what other people. So I'm just going through now the other questions.
But Lee, just a little thing. I mean, again, it all boils down to the relationship. If you have a good relationship with your headhunter, if you trust each other, a good relationship is about, like solving problems together, cooperation. And in my view, cooperation always leads to success. And if you have a good cooperation, good relationship, good trust, you will be successful with your headhunter. Maybe today, maybe in a year, maybe in 5 years. Doesn't matter. It's that's how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So we had a comment come in from Russell. He agrees. However, would it not be fair to also expect the headhunter to advise if you're pitching low? However, so candidates are not often experts and may need guidance as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely agree, Russell. We are there to help you. And again, this is the benefit of working with an expert. If you work with a generalist, they're not repeatedly working on similar positions, so they can offer less market insights. If you are working with an expert and somebody who focuses on the profile that you are, so to speak, they should be able to help you benchmark, to understand where your salary is, to discuss where you can expect to be, and help guide you on that. And I think the point about not moving the goalpost is really to say, once you've come to that conclusion together, not to move it. But of course, absolutely, you should be using the headhunter's skills and recruitment expertise as much as possible. That comes down to let's look at my CV together. Let's go through that. What changes can I make to improve it? A great example, the last experience in my last role was not a positive one. It ended a little bit messy. This is the situation. How, Mr. Headhunter, Mrs. Headhunter, how can I present that in a story that is a positive one, that doesn't look negative and helps me in the interview experience? These are all kind of things that we as headhunters, I can come up with an answer immediately to say, well, you know what, if it's me, this is what I would say, Russell. So I think not only for the salary, for your CV, for challenges or gaps or other things that you need advice on, the headhunter should be there to support you on all of these areas, honestly speaking. You agree?
I totally agree. I think it's the headhunter's duty to consult you.
Yeah.
And he should not be the one who is lowballing you. Definitely not. So he should consult you. He should honestly, transparently tell you what is possible, what range we're talking about. And he should be very transparent to you if he doesn't see you on the upper end of that range. And he should tell you why. He would tell you, we have other candidates. I have the comparison. I mean, I'm really respectful of what you did, where you've come from. I think it's great what you have done, but in this case, for this position, we should go like, let's say, 5,000 francs or euros or whatsoever. We should go 5,000 lower. So that's why. And then it's your decision again. So the ball is back at yours, and then you can decide, okay, do I want to do this? Don't I want to do this? And so on. It should be transparent, on eye level. And
Absolutely.
he has to do something, yeah.
Absolutely. I think, there can be situations as well. I remember in the past having companies I've been working with that don't pay as well on the market. And, having conversations with the candidates saying, okay, but my salary is this, and that's, my expectations. I know my value on the market. And I would at times have to say, I understand that. However, what you have to understand is these are the kind of salaries the company pays. This is in line with the other employees in the organization. Now, it's not a reflection in that sense on your experience. It's a reflection of what the company pays and how they structure these things internally. And either that works for you or it doesn't, So I think that, again, it comes back to the insights on the company as well. So, no. Yeah, and Russell says, thanks. So you're very welcome. Glad we could answer that.
Russell.
It comes back to what Jacques says. How do you, asked earlier, how do you know if you're dealing with a good recruiter or good headhunter? These things. That they're not just there saying, okay, I put you forward, let's go. That they are a consultant, they're a partner, they're giving you advice, they're coaching you. All of these things combine to make a great headhunter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Hey, I love the comments. So thanks to Jacques, and thanks to Francisco, and thanks to what's the name of the person who just had the last comment?
Russell as well.
Russell, thank you, Russell.
Yeah, and Andreas, Stefan, Bilal, everybody else who's been chucking comments in, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. We're coming slowly. We're coming slowly to the end. No problems. We're coming slowly to the end. So I put it out there to say, if you have any other questions, to ask them right now. Maybe. Let's see here from the other questions that we receive. This is maybe a good one to cover, and we can see if some comments or questions come in. Following up, do's and don'ts. How to follow up with a headhunter. What should people do? What should they not do?
I would keep him informed. So let's say maybe you have done a new certificate about something, send it to him. Hey man, I just did this and that, and here is it. Maybe it's useful for you. Or maybe from time to time, you don't have to do this like every day, that's unnerving, but from time to time, hey, here is my new CV. Yeah.
You can't have a new CV every day.
Yeah. Or maybe just follow up when you feel like something, I think I'm open for a change. Then you do a follow-up, of course, say, it doesn't have to be now, but just send me something over when you see it, and I think these are all good reasons to do a follow-up.
Yeah, and I think also define, with the recruiter, the headhunter, how these follow-ups should go. It's a relevant question to ask at the end of a thing, as well as a conversation, as well as talking about expectations. When do you think I'll next hear for you? How often do you have these kind of roles? So you understand, am I going to be waiting for 2 months perhaps without hearing something? Yeah, how should we best keep in touch in the future? Should I use WhatsApp? Should I drop you an email? Should I give you a call? What do you prefer? This is my preference, and kind of agree on a general channel of communication. Same thing as if you're in an interview process. When do you think, and this is something, unfortunately, that headhunters and recruiters fail a lot on, is informing the candidate how long they can expect to wait for feedback. And I think that at times it's because they don't know themselves. There's another video I have about making sure you get timely feedback after sending a CV. But no, I think it's about making sure that you can understand, okay, if you're submitting my CV to this client, when do you expect to receive feedback? Is it 24 hours, 48 hours? Can it be 2 weeks? What's the situation right now? Again, it's going to remove frustration, understand more about the relationship the recruiter has and headhunter has with their client, and making sure that you're having the right channels. I love using WhatsApp. I do it a lot, scheduling interviews, things like that. But I'm recruiting recruiters, so it's maybe a different field. Perhaps other people don't want to do it. So find out the best way of communication, how frequent that should be, and basically go from there.
And I mean, what I really like, and if you're around the corner, like spontaneously, call the guy up, tell him, hey man, just here, want to grab a coffee?
Yeah.
And if he has the time, nice, have a coffee, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, do a little update, see how it goes. Hey, sometimes the best things come out of coffees like that. So it's
absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, well, I think there aren't any other questions coming in for the moment, so I think we can wrap up the session just shy of an hour. It's flown past as always, Lucas. It's been an absolute blast and a pleasure.
Sad it's over.
Hey, there'll be a new one coming next.
Why does it have to be over, Lee?
Because I need to cook lunch for my kids.
Sure, man.
Yeah. Hangry kids is never a good thing. And to celebrate the last day of school for them as well for the summer break. No, but
it's a fair reason.
I think so. Episode 3 will follow shortly. If you have ideas out there that you would love to see me and Lucas hold a session around, please feel free to send us directly, to add it to the comments. Let us know what kind of topics you would like us to cover for episode 3, 4, 5, and more. And we look forward, as always, to engaging with you, to bringing this content. Thank you so much for all of the comments, all of the likes. Please share this with your network, like it, let us know what you thought. And in the meantime, let's hope the sun starts to shine in Zurich and in Switzerland, and that we can all enjoy the weekend ahead. And thank you, Lucas, as always. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lee. This is the guy. Thank you, Lee, for organizing this. It's a great format. I really enjoy it, and I hope you, the viewers, enjoy it as well. And it's all because of Lee, because he was the guy who get the things going. And thank you so much. It's great to have you, Lee. You're just a legend. Thank you.
I appreciate it, buddy. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Ganz schöne Freitag noch miteinander. And we hear from each other soon.
Bye.